I want you to do something for me. I want you to unclench your jaw, drop your shoulders away from your ears, and take a deep, slow breath into your belly. Good. Now, let's be honest for a moment. If I asked you how you are, you'd probably say, I'm fine, or I'm just busy. But if we stripped away the polite answers and the daily mask, how does your spirit actually feel? For so many of us, life has become a series of endless obligations. You wake up, you check your phone, you pour the coffee, and you immediately step onto a hamster wheel that doesn't stop until you collapse into bed at night. You are doing everything right. You are working hard. You are supporting everyone around you. You are keeping it all together. But underneath the productivity, there is a silent struggle, a quiet, nagging voice that asks, is this what life is supposed to feel like? You might feel a low-level exhaustion that sleep doesn't fix. You might feel a disconnection from your own femininity, feeling more like a machine or a manager than a woman who is alive and vibrant. You aren't depressed, but you aren't fully alive either. You are just existing. I want you to know that you are not alone in this feeling. This is the modern woman's burden. We have been taught to chase success, but we haven't been taught how to cultivate fulfillment. We are overstimulated and undernourished. But here is the good news. The feeling of being stuck is not a life sentence. It is a signal. It is your soul knocking on the door, asking for a change. And the change you need isn't about doing more. It isn't about a stricter diet or a harder workout. It's about doing less, but doing it with intention. The psychology of micro shifts. Now, I know what you might be thinking. You might be thinking, I've tried to change my life before. I've made New Year's resolutions. I've bought the planners. It never sticks. You are absolutely right. Radical overnight changes rarely stick. In fact, psychology tells us why. When you try to overhaul your entire life at once, when you try to wake up at 5 a.m., run 5 miles, and meditate for an hour all on day one, your brain's amygdala perceives this as a threat. It triggers a stress response. Your subconscious mind fights the change because it feels unsafe. It pulls you back to what is familiar, even if what is familiar is making you miserable. That is why today we are not going to talk about radical overhauls. We're going to talk about micro shifts. A micro shift is a small, subtle adjustment that flies under the radar of your brain's fear center. Think of a ship traveling across the ocean. If the captain turns the wheel just 1 single degree, it feels insignificant in the moment. You wouldn't even spill your tea, but over the course of 1,000 miles, that 1 degree shift means the difference between landing in Africa or landing in South America. The 9 habits we are going to explore today are those 1 degree shifts. They are not chores. They are not punishments. They are small psychological levers that we are going to pull to completely rewire how you view yourself and how the world responds to you. We aren't trying to build a new you. We are simply clearing the dust off the masterpiece that is already there, the promise of the 9. So what does this new destination look like? By the time we finish this journey together, you will have a complete blueprint for a life that feels as good on the inside as it looks on the outside. We are going to move through 9 specific habits layer by layer. We will start internally rewriting the stories you tell yourself when you look in the mirror. We will move into your body, learning how to release the trauma and tension you've been carrying in your shoulders. We will talk about your relationships, how to set boundaries that make people respect you more, not less. And we will look at your environment, transforming your home from a source of stress into a sanctuary of peace. Some of these habits will surprise you. Some might challenge you. For example, habit point 4 is going to require you to say no to people you love, and habit find 7 might completely change how you get ready in the morning. But I promise you this, if you commit to listening, really listening, and if you choose just one of these habits to start with today, you will feel a shift. You will feel lighter. You will feel a quiet sense of power returning to your chest. You deserve to live a life that you are obsessed with. You deserve to be the main character in your own story, not just a supporting actor in everyone else's. Are you ready to stop running and start living? Let's begin with habit number 1. Habit find 1. The narrative rewrite, the roommate in your head. The first habit is not something you do with your hands. It is something you do with your mind. It is called the narrative rewrite. To understand this, I want you to imagine a scenario. Imagine you have a roommate living in your house. This roommate follows you from room to room all day long. When you look in the mirror in the morning, she whispers, look at those dark circles. You look so old today. When you make a small mistake at work, she leans in and says, see, I told you you weren't smart enough for this job. When you try to relax, she paces around the room saying, you are being lazy. You should be doing laundry. You are failing. If you had a real life roommate who spoke to you like this, who constantly bullied you, criticized you, and drained your energy, would you let her stay? Absolutely not. You would kick her out immediately. You would realize that she is toxic, abusive, and impossible to live with. And yet this is exactly who lives inside our heads. Psychologists call this the inner critic, but I prefer to think of it as the toxic roommate. For many of us, this voice has been running on a loop for so long that we don't even hear it anymore. We think it's just the truth. We think that when the voice says, you aren't pretty enough, it is stating a fact, but it is not a fact. It is a narrative. It is a script that was likely written years ago, perhaps by a parent, a teacher, or an ex-partner, and you have been unknowingly reading it aloud every single day. The first step to changing your life is simply noticing this roommate. You don't have to fight her yet. You just have to acknowledge her. When you hear that thought, I'm so stupid, I want you to pause, mentally step back and say, wow, the roommate is really loud today. By separating yourself from the voice, you take away its power. You realize that you are not the voice. You are the one hearing it. And if you are the one hearing it, you have the power to change the channel. A lucky girl psychology, once you have identified the negative voice, we need to replace it. We need to give your mind a new job. This brings us to a concept I call lucky girl psychology. This isn't about magic, and it isn't about toxic positivity where we pretend everything is perfect. This is about neuroscience. Your brain has a filter system called the reticular activating system, or RAS. Its job is to look for evidence that supports what you already believe. If you believe, I am always so tired and stressed, your RAS will scan your environment for everything that makes you tired and stressed. It will highlight the traffic jam, the rude email, and the messy kitchen. And it will say, see, I told you life was hard. But we can hack this system. We can flip the switch. The habit I want you to build is the habit of assuming the best. It is the subtle art of believing that things are working out for you, even when it doesn't look like it. Let's say you are running late for a meeting. The old narrative says, I'm such a mess. Everyone is going to judge me. The lucky girl narrative says, I am running late, which means I probably missed a traffic accident. I will arrive exactly when I am meant to. Let's say a date doesn't text you back. The old narrative says, I am unlovable. The lucky girl narrative says, the universe is protecting me from someone who isn't on my level. My person is still on their way. Do you feel the difference? The situation is exactly the same, but the energy is completely different. One drains you, the other empowers you. This is a mental muscle you have to build. For the next 7 days, I want you to play a game with the universe. Whatever happens, good or bad, whisper to yourself, this is working out for me. Even if you don't believe it yet, say it. When you start telling yourself that you are lucky, that you are supported, and that life is being kind to you, your reticular activating system will start hunting for evidence to prove you right. You will start noticing green lights. You will start noticing smiles from strangers. You will start noticing opportunities you missed before. You aren't just changing your thoughts, you are changing your reality. The morning script. So how do we make this practical? We do it in the most critical window of the day, the first 10 minutes after you wake up. When you first open your eyes, your brain is in a state called theta. It is a dream, like hypnotic state where your subconscious mind is wide open and highly suggestible. Most women waste this precious window. They reach for their phone, they scroll through social media, they check the news, or they immediately start worrying about their to-do list. They invite the chaos of the world into their brain before they have even brushed their teeth. Here is your new habit, the morning script. Before you get out of bed and before you touch your phone, I want you to lay there for 2 minutes. Keep your eyes closed. And I want you to script how the day is going to go emotionally. You don't need to plan the logistics. Just plan the feeling. Say to yourself, today I am calm. Today things come easily to me. I am going to have a delicious coffee. I am going to handle that meeting with grace. I am going to feel beautiful in my body. Today is a good day. Visualize yourself moving through the day with a smile. See yourself laughing. See yourself driving without stress. You are paving the road ahead of you. You are telling your brain what to look for. By the time your feet hit the floor, you have already set the frequency for the next 12 hours. You aren't waking up and reacting to the world. You are waking up and creating it. This takes 2 minutes, but it changes everything. It is the difference between surviving your day and owning it. Habit Find 2, somatic connection, living in the head vez, the body. Now that we have begun to rewrite the story in your mind, we must descend. We must move from the attic of your thoughts down into the foundation of your being. This brings us to habit number 2, somatic connection. Most modern women suffer from what I call floating head syndrome. We spend our entire lives existing from the neck up. We live in our emails, our text messages, our worries, and our plans. We treat our bodies like Uber drivers, just a vehicle that carries our brain from meeting to meeting or from the bed to the couch. We ignore the vehicle until it breaks down, gets sick, or looks different than we want it to. But here is the truth. Anxiety cannot exist in the present moment. Anxiety lives in the future. And where does the future live? In your mind, your body. However, is always in the present. Your breath is happening now. Your heart is beating now. When you feel anxious, insecure, or overwhelmed, it is almost always because you have abandoned your body. You have retreated into your head to try to think your way out of a feeling. But you cannot think your way out of a feeling. You have to feel your way out of it. Somatic awareness is the habit of asking, where is this emotion living right now? When you are stressed, do you notice that your shoulders are touching your ears? When you are afraid to speak up, do you feel a tightness in your throat? When you are rushing, do you notice that you have stopped breathing? This habit is about realizing that your body is not an object to be looked at. It is a vessel to be lived in. True confidence, the kind that makes people stop and look at you when you walk into a room, does not come from perfect makeup or a perfect outfit. It comes from being fully inhabited. It comes from a woman who is home inside her own skin. The practice of grounding. So how do we return home? How do we slide down from the chaos of the mind into the safety of the body? We use a technique called grounding. If you are listening to this right now, I want you to try this with me. It takes 10 seconds. Wherever you are, I want you to press your feet firmly into the floor. If you are sitting, feel the weight of your hips in the chair. Now wiggle your toes, really feel them. Notice the texture of your socks or the carpet against your skin. Take a deep breath, but imagine you are breathing through the soles of your feet, pulling energy up from the earth. That sensation, that is you coming back to reality. When we are ungrounded, our nervous system is in a state of high alert. Our cortisol spikes. We feel frantic, like a balloon without a string. We snap at our partners, we make mistakes at work, and we feel exhausted. The habit I want you to build is the 3 check-ins. 3 times a day, maybe at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I want you to stop for just 30 seconds and ground yourself. Ask yourself, is my jaw clenched? Is my belly soft, or am I sucking it in? Society teaches women to suck in their stomachs constantly. But biologically, when you tighten your stomach muscles, you signal to your nervous system that you are in danger, that you are bracing for impact. This keeps you in fight or flight mode all day long. The most radical thing you can do for your mental health is to let your belly be soft. Let it expand when you breathe. When you soften your front, you soften your energy. You signal to your body, I am safe. There is no tiger chasing me. I am okay. This habit of grounding isn't just about relaxation. It is about self-preservation. It is about claiming your space in the physical world instead of shrinking away from it. Feminine movement, the final piece of connecting to your body, is feminine movement. For many of us, the only time we move our bodies intentionally is when we work out. And usually working out is a masculine, goal-oriented activity. We run to burn calories. We lift weights to build muscle. We punish the body to force it into a shape. There is nothing wrong with exercise, but it is not the same as movement. Feminine movement is not about what it looks like. It is about what it feels like. It is fluid. It is circular. It is about moving stagnant energy out of your system. Trauma and stress tend to get stuck in the hips and the pelvic area. We hold so much control there. We walk stiffly trying to get from point A to point B. I want you to introduce a new habit, the kitchen dance. When you are cooking dinner or brushing your teeth or waiting for the coffee to brew, move your hips, sway in a circle, roll your neck, stretch your arms up like a cat waking up from a nap. It might feel silly at first. That's okay. That's just the roommate in your head trying to keep you rigid. Ignore her. When you move fluidly, you unlock your sensuality. You remind your body that it is capable of pleasure, not just productivity. A woman who is stiff is closed off to the world. A woman who is fluid is magnetic. You don't need a yoga class or a gym membership for this. You just need to give yourself permission to untangle the knots in your spirit by untangling the knots in your muscles. Move like water, not like stone. When you become fluid, life flows to you rather than you having to chase after it. Habit feint 3, the elegant boundary, the disease to please. We have rewritten your internal narrative and we have reconnected with your body. Now, we must look outward. We must look at how you interact with the world around you. This brings us to habit number 3, the elegant boundary. For many of us, this is the hardest habit to master. From the time we are little girls, we are conditioned to be good. And somewhere along the way, we confused being good with being available. We learned that to be loved, we must be accommodating. We must say yes to the extra shift at work who needs to vent for 3 hours. And yes, to the family gathering we don't have the energy for. We suffer from the disease to please. You might think you are just being kind. You might think, I just like helping people, but I want you to look deeper. Often, this overgiving is not rooted in love. It is rooted in fear. It is a fear of abandonment, a fear that if you are not useful, you will not be wanted. When you constantly say yes to everyone else, you are constantly saying no to yourself. You are telling your own psyche, my needs are secondary, my rest is negotiable. And when you treat yourself like an option, the world treats you like an option. The woman who is always available is rarely respected. She is used to it. She is exhausted. And eventually she becomes resentful. You know that feeling when you are doing a favor for someone, but deep down you are angry about it. That anger is your intuition telling you that a boundary has been crossed. The habit we are building here is the understanding that self-abandonment is not a virtue. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and you certainly cannot be a magnetic, high-value woman if you are burned out from trying to manage everyone else's emotions. It is time to retire from the role of the good girl and step into the role of the ground woman. The soft no technique, I know what you are thinking. Okay, I need boundaries. But how? I don't want to be mean. I don't want to start a fight. This is where most people get it wrong. They think a boundary has to be a wall. They think you have to be aggressive or cold. But true power is never aggressive, true palm. I want to teach you the art of the soft no. So no is firm in its meaning, but gentle in its delivery. It protects your peace without attacking the other person. Here is the first rule of the soft no, the pause. When someone asks you for something, whether it's a favor, a date, or a commitment, never answer immediately. The people pleaser in you will instinctively shout yes before you have even thought about it. Instead, say, let me check my schedule and get back to you. This buys you time. It allows you to check in with your body, remember Habit Fight 2, and ask, do I actually want to do this? If the answer is no, you deliver the soft no. You do not need to offer a 5-minute excuse. You do not need to lie and say your cat is sick. You simply state your limit. Here are a few scripts you can use today. That sounds lovely, but I'm at capacity this week, so I won't be able to make it. I'm focusing on resting this weekend, so I'm not making plans. I can't help with that project, but I trust you'll figure it out. Notice that there is no apology. You don't say, I'm so sorry, I feel terrible. When you over-apologize, you signal that you are doing something wrong, but protecting your energy is not wrong. At first, this will feel terrifying. Your heart will race. You will think, they are going to hate me, but watch what actually happens. They won't hate you. They might be surprised, yes, but subconsciously their respect for you will skyrocket. People respect people who respect themselves. By drawing a line, you are teaching people how to treat you. You are showing them that your time is valuable, which makes you valuable. Protecting your energy field boundaries are not just about what you do. They are about who you let in. This brings us to protecting your energy field. You are not a 24-hour convenience store. You do not need to be open for business all the time. In this digital age, we have allowed people to have constant access to us. A text message is essentially someone knocking on your front door and demanding your attention right now. The habit I want you to embrace is limited access. This means using do not disturb mode on your phone as a lifestyle choice, not just when you are sleeping. It means you do not have to reply to a text the second it comes in. You can wait an hour. You can wait day. When you reply instantly to everything, you train people to expect instant access. You train them to believe that their urgency is your emergency. But beyond technology, you must protect yourself from energy vampires. We all know them, the friends or co-workers who dump their negativity on you, leaving you feeling drained and heavy while they walk away feeling better. You must visualize a shield around you. When someone starts to dump their chaos onto you, I want you to imagine a glass wall between you and them. You can see them, you can hear them, you can have compassion for them, but their energy cannot touch you. You can say things like, I love you and I want to support you, but I don't have the emotional bandwidth to talk about this heavy topic right now. Can we talk about something else? Your energy is your currency. It is the fuel you need to build your dream life. Do not let people steal it. Guard it like the treasure it is. Habit 5-4, romanticizing the mundane, the gray zone of life. We have secured your boundaries. Now, we must look at how you fill the space you have protected. This brings us to habit number 4, romanticizing the mundane. If you look at your life, you will notice a pattern. There are the highs, the vacations, the date nights, the big promotions. And there are the lows, the breakups, the failures, the grief. But 90% of your life is neither high nor low. It is in the middle. It is the gray zone. The gray zone is the commute to work. It is washing the dishes. It is folding the laundry. It is the Tuesday afternoon slump. Most women treat the gray zone as a waiting room. They live on autopilot, heads down, just trying to get through the week so they can reach the weekend. They think, I will be happy when I am in Paris, or I will enjoy myself when it's Saturday night. But here is the tragedy. When you wait for the extraordinary moments to feel alive, you miss your actual life. You are wishing away the majority of your existence. The habit of romanticizing the mundane is the alchemical process of turning lead into gold. It is the decision to stop enduring your routine and start enchanting it. It is the understanding that there are no boring moments, only boring perspectives. You do not need to move to Italy to have a beautiful life. You do not need a new job to find joy. You need to change the lens through which you view your Tuesday morning. If you can learn to fall in love with the process of making your morning coffee, you will never spend another day of your life waiting to truly main character energy. So how do we enchant the mundane? We adopt what the internet calls main character energy. Now, I don't mean acting arrogant or thinking you are the center of the universe. I mean viewing your life through a cinematic lens. Imagine you are the protagonist in a beautiful indie film. In a movie, a scene of a woman drinking tea isn't just drinking tea. The lighting is warm, the music is soft, the steam rising from the cup is beautiful. It is a moment. Why can't you treat your life with that same level of artistic reverence? The habit here is to stop saving the good things for a special occasion. You are the special occasion. Burn the expensive candle while you are doing your taxes. Wear the matching silk lingerie on a Monday underneath your work clothes, not because anyone is going to see it, but because you know it's there. Use the good china to eat your takeout pizza. When you treat yourself like a precious guest in your own home, you signal to your subconscious that you are worthy of care. You raise your vibration. If you are going to the grocery store, do not just roll out of bed and trudge there. Put on a trench coat, put on a little perfume, put on a playlist that makes you feel like you are walking through the streets of New York or Paris. Suddenly, buying milk isn't a chore, it's a scene. This might sound superficial, but it is deeply psychological. When you act as if your life is beautiful, your brain begins to believe it is beautiful. You stop rushing through your days and start savoring them. You start noticing the way the light hits the floorboards. You start noticing the smell of rain. By treating your life as art, you become an artist. The art of slowing down, the final component of romanticizing your life, is the art of slowing down. We live in a culture that worships speed. We wear busy as a badge of honor. We listen to podcasts at 2x speed. We text while we walk, and we eat lunch while we answer emails. We are constantly multitasking, trying to squeeze more productivity out of every second. But you cannot romanticize a blur. You cannot find beauty when you are running. The habit I want you to practice is monotasking. This means doing one thing at a time. When you drink your coffee, just drink your coffee. Do not scroll. Do not plan dinner. Just taste the bean, feel the warmth of the mug, and look out the window. When you are applying your skincare at night, do not rush through it to get to bed. Feel the texture of the cream. Massage your face slowly. Make it a ritual. Slowing down is the ultimate luxury. It signals to your nervous system that you are safe, that there is enough time, and that you are in control. A woman who rushes looks chaotic. A woman who takes her time looks regal. It is a paradox. When you slow down, you actually experience more time. The moments expand because you are actually there for them. So for the rest of this week, I want you to pick one mundane task. Maybe it's showering, maybe it's walking the dog, and I want you to do it at half speed. Notice the temperature, notice the sounds. Be fully present. Turn the mundane into the magical simply by paying attention. This is how you fall in love with being alive. Habit Find 5, curating your sanctuary environment is emotion. We have romanticized your routine, but now we must look at the stage upon which your life is playing out. This brings us to habit number 5, curating your sanctuary. There is a direct biological link between your environment and your nervous system. Have you ever noticed that when your house is messy, your brain feels foggy? Or when there is a pile of laundry on the chair, you feel a low level hum of anxiety? This is because the environment is emotion. Your eyes are constantly scanning your surroundings. When they see clutter, dirt, or disorganization, they send a signal to your brain that says, there is work to be done. Your brain interprets this visual noise as unfinished business. It spikes your cortisol levels. It keeps you in a state of low-grade fight or flight, preventing you from ever truly relaxing. Many women think that cleaning is just a chore, something you do for hygiene or to impress guests. But I want you to reframe this completely. Caring for your space is not about being a good housekeeper. It is about mental hygiene. It is an act of self-respect. You cannot expect to feel like a high-value, calm, magnetic woman if you are living in a chaotic, low vibration environment. You cannot think clearly if your physical reality is cluttered. The habit here is to stop viewing your home as just a storage unit for your stuff and start viewing it as an external hard drive for your brain. When you clear a surface, you are literally clearing space in your mind. You are removing the static so that you can finally hear yourself think. Your home should not be a source of demand. It should be a source of peace. High value audit. Now that we understand the link between space and stress, we need to take action. We need to perform what I call the high value audit. I want you to walk through your home with fresh eyes. Imagine you are a guest, a very important high value guest. Look at the items you use every day. Do you drink your morning coffee out of a chipped mug that you got for free at a conference 5 years ago? Do you dry your body with a towel that is scratchy, stained, or fraying at the edges? Do you wear pajamas that have holes in them? You might think, doesn't matter, no one sees it but me. But you see it. And every time you use a broken, ugly, or good enough item, you are sending a subconscious message to yourself. You are saying, I am not worth the good things. I deserve the leftovers. I deserve the scratchy towel. This habit is about ruthlessly editing your life. If an item does not make you feel beautiful, peaceful, or functional, it has to go. Holding on to clutter is often a symptom of holding on to the past. We keep the dress that doesn't fit just in case. We keep the gifts we hate because of guilt. But you cannot welcome new energy if your space is filled with old, stagnant energy. Throw away the chipped mug. Buy yourself one beautiful ceramic cup that feels heavy and luxurious in your hand. Throw away the old underwear. Buy the sheets that feel like silk. You do not need to be rich to do this. This isn't about luxury. It's about curation. It is better to have 4 beautiful plates than 12 ugly ones. When you surround yourself with things that have been chosen with love, you feel loved. You begin to treat yourself better because your environment is treating you better. Sensory layering, once we have cleared the clutter and removed the broken energy, we must add the magic. We must engage the senses. This is the habit of sensory layering. Most people design their homes based on what they look like. I want you to design your home based on what it feels like. Your home should be a sensory retreat that instantly lowers your blood pressure the moment you step inside. Let's start with lighting. Harsh overhead in the big light is the enemy of relaxation. It mimics the sun at high noon, or worse, a hospital waiting room. It tells your brain to be alert. The habit: never use the big light after sunset. Switch to lamps. Use warm amber colored bulbs. Light a candle. Soft pools of light create intimacy and safety. Next, scent. Smell is the fastest route to the emotional center of the brain. Does your home smell like stale food or old shoes? Or does it smell like lavender, sandalwood, or fresh linen? Invest in a diffuser or signature home spray. When your home smells expensive, you feel expensive. Finally, sound. Is your home filled with the noise of the TV news or the hum of the refrigerator? Curate the soundscape. Play soft jazz in the morning. Play lo-fi beats while you work. Play rain sounds while you read. When you layer these sensory details, the soft light, the good smell, the gentle music, the soft blanket, you turn your home into a battery charger. You create a sanctuary that refills your cup. You stop needing to escape on a vacation because you have built a life that you don't need to escape from. You have built a sanctuary that holds you. Habit feint 6, the pause of presence, reactivity versus responsivity. We have curated your outer sanctuary. Now we must curate your inner emotional landscape. This brings us to habit number 6, the pause of presence. To understand this habit, we must look at the difference between two very similar words, reactivity and responsivity. Reactivity is an instinct. It is biological. When someone cuts you off in traffic, or your partner says something in a sharp tone, or you receive a passive-aggressive email, your body immediately floods with adrenaline. You snap back. You yell, you send the angry text, you spiral into anxiety. When you are reactive, you're like a puppet. The world pulls your strings, a trigger here, a stressor there, and you dance. You have no control. You are at the mercy of everyone else's behavior. Responsivity, on the other hand, is a choice. It is the ability to feel the trigger, feel the flash of anger or fear, but not act on it immediately. The habit I want you to master is the sacred pause. Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, famously said, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. Most of us have shrunk that space to zero. We are instant responders. I want you to widen that gap. The next time you feel triggered, the next time your heart starts racing or your face gets hot, I want you to freeze. Do not speak. Do not type. Count to 5. In those 5 seconds, your prefrontal cortex, the logic center of your brain, has time to catch up with your amygdala, the emotional center. In those 5 seconds, you move from a child who is throwing a tantrum to a woman who is in control. You can ask yourself, do I want to escalate this, or do I want to solve this? This is the ultimate form of emotional elegance. A high-value woman does not let the world rattle her. She observes the chaos, takes a deep breath, and decides how she wants to engage. She responds. She does not react. Deep listening, once you have mastered the pause within yourself, you can bring that presence into your relationships. This leads us to the habit of deep listening. We live in a noisy world. Everyone is talking, everyone is posting, everyone is broadcasting, but very few people are actually listening. Most people listen with the intent to reply, not the intent to understand. When you are talking to someone, they are usually just waiting for you to take a breath so they can speak. Are mentally rehearsing their next sentence. They are checking their phone under the table. This makes people feel lonely even when they are in a conversation. The habit of deep listening is a superpower because it is so rare. When you give someone your full, undivided attention, you are giving them a gift. You are making them feel seen. Here is how you do it when someone is speaking to you. Turn your entire body toward them. Look them in the eyes. Put your phone away, completely out of sight. And turn off the voice in your head that wants to offer advice or talk about yourself. Just absorb what they are saying. Listen for the emotion behind the words. If your partner says, I had a hard day, don't immediately jump in with me too. Traffic was awful. That is stealing the spotlight. Instead, stay in the pause. Ask, what made it so hard? When you do this, you become instantly magnetic. People will be drawn to you and they won't even know why. They will leave conversations with you feeling better about themselves. This is the secret of charisma. It isn't about being the loudest person in the room or having the funniest stories. It is about being the person who makes everyone else feel like the only person in the room. When you listen deeply, you create a connection that is intoxicating. You become a safe harbor in a chaotic world. Being okay with silence, the final piece of this emotional intelligence puzzle, is making peace with silence. For many women, silence is terrifying. We view a pause in conversation as a failure. We think, oh no, it's awkward. They must be bored. I need to say something funny. So we babble, we overshare, we fill the air with nervous laughter and unnecessary words. But constant chatter signals insecurity. It signals that you are uncomfortable with yourself. The habit I want you to practice is letting the silence sit. When you are in a conversation and the talking stops, do not rush to rescue the moment. Let the silence hang there for 3 seconds. Breathe into it. Silence is not empty. It is full of power. In negotiations, the person can hold the silence the longest usually wins. In romance, silence creates tension and desire. In friendship, silence creates intimacy. It says, we don't need to perform for each other. We can just be. A woman who is comfortable in silence projects deep confidence. She shows that she does not need to entertain you to be worthy of your time. She is content just existing. Try this today. When you finish a sentence, stop. Don't add a qualifier. Don't say, does that make sense? Or, I don't know. Just make your point and then rest in the stillness. Watch how people lean in. Watch how they respect your words more, because you aren't drowning them in noise. By embracing the pause, whether it's pausing before you react, pausing to listen, or pausing in silence, you reclaim your power. You stop rushing through your relationships and start actually experiencing them. You become a woman of depth. Habit feint 7, adorning the vessel. It's not vanity, it's self-respect. We have done deep internal work. We have paused, we have listened, and we have cleared the clutter. Now, we must turn our attention to the physical form you present to the world. This brings us to habit number 7, adorning the vessel. I want to address a resistance that just came up for some of you. You might be thinking, I don't have time to worry about looks, or it's what's on the inside that counts. Yes, the inside is critical, but there is a powerful psychological feedback loop between how you look and how you feel. This is what psychologists call unclothed cognition. Studies show that what you wear changes your brain chemistry, your posture, and even your hormone levels. When you spend your days in oversized sweatpants, unwashed hair, and stained t-shirts, you are signaling to your subconscious, I am in survival mode. I am not important. You move differently. You speak more quietly. You hide. This habit is not about vanity. It is not about trying to look like an Instagram model or impressing men. It is about self-respect. Think of your body as the temple where your spirit lives. If you went to a temple, would you expect it to be dirty and neglected? Or would you expect it to be adorned with flowers and care? Adorning yourself is a daily ritual of honoring the life force within you. When you take the time to groom yourself, you are telling the world, I value myself. And more importantly, you are telling yourself that you matter. The habit here is to banish the bum look from your daily life. Even if you work from home, even if no one is going to see you, you see you. When you catch a glimpse of yourself in the mirror and you look put together, you get a micro hit of dopamine. You stand taller. You handle stress better. You are more productive. You aren't dressing for an audience. You are dressing for the woman you want to be, the signature style. So how do we do this without it becoming a chore? We simplify it. We find the signature style. Many women are exhausted by fashion because they are trying to follow trends. They have a closet full of clothes, but nothing to wear because nothing actually fits their soul. The habit I want you to cultivate is uniformity. Look at the most iconic women in history. They didn't wear everything. They wore their thing. They had a signature. Maybe it was a red lip. Maybe it was always wearing black. Maybe it was gold jewelry. I want you to audit your closet again, just like we did with your home. Remove the things that make you feel small. Remove the just in case jeans that are 3 sizes too small and just make you feel fat every time you look at them. Remove the colors that wash you out. Keep only the items that make you feel powerful. When you curate a signature style, getting dressed becomes effortless. You stop suffering from decision fatigue in the morning. You put on your uniform, whether that is a blazer and jeans or a flowy dress, and you immediately step into your power. This is about alignment. When your outside matches your inside, you feel integrated. You stop feeling like an imposter in your own life. Ask yourself, what does the highest version of me wear? Does she wear baggy stained t-shirts? Or does she wear silk and soft cotton? Does she hide in gray, or does she wear bold colors? Start dressing like her today, not when you lose 10 pounds, not when you get the promotion. Today, the clothes are the costume for the role you are playing. Dress for the role of the protagonist, the daily ritual of care. Finally, we must change how we physically touch ourselves during these routines. This is the daily ritual of care. For most of us, hygiene is a race. We shower in 5 minutes. We scrub our faces aggressively. We slap on lotion while checking our phone is functional, mechanical, and loveless. I want you to transform this. I want you to turn your bathroom into a temple for 10 minutes a day. When you apply your skincare, slow down, remember habit 4. Don't just rub the cream in, massage your face. Feel the structure of your cheekbones. Look yourself in the eyes in the mirror and smile. When you put on body lotion after a shower, treat it like an anointing. Touch your own skin with tenderness. This sounds simple, but for many women, it is radical. We are so used to critiquing our bodies, pinching our fat, sighing at our wrinkles, that we have forgotten how to be gentle with ourselves. The habit is to touch yourself with love. When you do this consistently, you begin to heal the relationship with your body. You stop fighting it. You stop viewing it as a problem to be fixed and start viewing it as a vessel to be cherished. And here is the magic: when you treat your body like gold, you start radiating a glow that makeup cannot mimic. People will ask you what you are doing. They will say you look fresh or radiant. What they are seeing is a woman who is loved. She is loved by the most important person in her life, herself. So tonight, don't just get ready for bed. Perform a ritual of gratitude for the body that carries you through this life. Oil your skin, brush your hair slowly, adorn the vessel. You are worthy of your own tenderness. Habit finding 8, intellectual expansion, the mental diet. We have adorned the body, but what about the mind that lives within it? This brings us to habit number 8, intellectual expansion. The first step in expanding your mind is controlling what enters it. We must talk about the mental diet. You would never eat food out of a dumpster. You would never willingly ingest poison. You are careful about what you feed your body because you know that you are what you eat. But do you apply that same rigor to your mind? Most of us are consuming a mental diet of absolute junk. We spend hours scrolling through social media, ingesting 15-second clips of other people's highlight reels. We consume fear-mongering news, celebrity gossip, and outrage culture. This is not neutral. Every image you see leaves a footprint. When you look at an influencer with a perfect life, your subconscious registers a lack in your own life. When you read angry comments, your nervous system spikes. The habit I want you to adopt is ruthless curation. I want you to pick up your phone right now and open your following list. If an account makes you feel jealous, inadequate, or anxious, unfollow. If an account is just noise, mute. You must protect your headspace as fiercely as you protect your home. Imagine your mind is a pristine garden. Social media is often just throwing weeds and trash over the fence. You cannot grow beautiful thoughts if your soil is full of toxins. Replace the junk with nourishment. Follow artists, follow poets, follow scientists, follow people who make you think, wow, the world is amazing, not wow, I am not enough. When you change your inputs, your outputs change. Your anxiety drops simply because you stopped feeding it. 15 minutes of brilliance. Once we have stopped the intake of junk food, we must start feeding the mind with nutrients. This brings us to the habit of 15 minutes of brilliance. Many women feel a sense of stagnation as they get older. We get stuck in the routine of work, kids, chores, and Netflix. We stop learning. We stop being curious. And when we stop being curious, we start feeling dull. We feel like we have nothing interesting to say at a dinner party. We fear we are becoming boring. The antidote is simple. You do not need to go back to grad school. You just need 15 minutes a day. The habit is to dedicate 15 minutes, perhaps while you drink your morning coffee or while you commute, to learning something profound. Read a chapter of a philosophy book, listen to a podcast about astrophysics, watch a TED talk about the psychology of happiness, read a classic poem. Why does this matter? Because intellectual confidence is magnetic. There is nothing sexier or more compelling than a woman who has a rich inner life. When you learn new things, you light up. You have new metaphors to describe your feelings. You have new perspectives on your problems. When you are constantly learning, you become a rare creature. You are no longer just talking about people or events. You are talking about ideas. This habit ensures that you are always growing. It ensures that you never become stagnant. It reminds you that the world is vast and full of mysteries waiting for you to uncover them. So instead of scrolling Instagram for 15 minutes, read a few pages of something difficult. Stretch your brain. When you challenge your mind, you build cognitive reserve. You feel sharper. You feel more capable. You stop feeling like a mom or an employee, and remember that you are an intellectual being with a capacity for brilliance. Seeking eye, finally, to truly expand, we must look up. We must cultivate the habit of seeking eye. We spend so much of our lives looking down at our phones, at our desks, at our sinks. Our field of vision is tiny. And because our vision is small, our problems feel huge. When you are staring at a dirty dish, that dish is your whole world. When you are staring at an unread email, that stress consumes you. The psychological remedy for this is a concept called the overview effect. Astronauts experience it when they see Earth from space. They realize how small everything is, and they feel a profound sense of peace and connection. You don't need a spaceship to feel this. You just need to seek awe. The habit is to intentionally put yourself in the presence of something vast every single day. Step outside at night and look at the stars. Really look at them. Realize that the light hitting your eyes has traveled for millions of years. Watch a documentary about the deep ocean. Look at a tree that is 200 years old. Listen to a piece of classical music that swells and crashes like a storm. When you experience yourself shrinks, your ego quiets down, your worry about that awkward email dissolves, because in the grand scheme of the universe, it does not matter. Awe is the ultimate nervous system regulator. It reminds you that you are part of something infinite. It takes the weight of the world off your shoulders. So make it a habit to be amazed. Do not let a day go by without looking at something that makes you whisper. It is the quickest way to return to your center. Habit find 9. The evening release, how you end is how you begin. We have arrived at the final habit. We have traversed the landscape of your mind, your body, your relationships, and your environment. Now, we must master the art of closing the circle. This brings us to habit number 9, the evening release. There is a profound misconception that your day begins when your alarm goes off in the morning. That is false. Your day actually begins the night before. The quality of your tomorrow is determined entirely by how you close your today. For many women, the evening is the most chaotic time. We suffer from a psychological phenomenon known as revenge bedtime procrastination. You know this feeling well. You are exhausted. Your eyes are burning. You know you should sleep. But you don't. You stay up scrolling on your phone, watching one more episode, or just puttering around the house. Why do we do this? It is not because we are undisciplined. It is because we feel that the day did not belong to us. From 700 a.m. to 900 p.m., your time belonged to your boss, your children, your partner, or your cause. The night feels like the only time you can reclaim for yourself. So you stay up to feel a sense of freedom. But this freedom is a trap. It is a loan with high interest. When you steal hours from your sleep, you are stealing happiness from your tomorrow. You wake up groggy, reactive, and cortisol filled. You start the next day in a deficit. The habit I want you to embrace is viewing sleep not as turning off, but as restoration. You must create a hard stop. Decide on a time, let's say 10:00 p.m., where the day is officially over. You are off the clock. The kitchen is closed. The phone is put away. This requires discipline, but it is the highest form of self-love. By going to bed, you are prioritizing your future self over your present impulses. You are saying, I love myself enough to give my body the rest it needs to be magnetic tomorrow. The brain dump technique, once you have committed to the time, we must deal with the mind. How many times have you laid your head on the pillow, ready to sleep, only to have your brain suddenly turn on? Suddenly, you remember an email you forgot to send. You remember that you need to buy milk. You start replaying a conversation from 3 years ago. This happens because of the Zeigarnik effect. This psychological principle states that our brains remember uncompleted tasks better than completed ones. If you have open loops in your mind, things you haven't finished or decided on, your brain will keep spinning them to ensure you don't forget. It is trying to help you, but it is keeping you awake. The solution is a habit called the brain dump. Keep a notebook and a pen by your bed, not your phone. The blue light will wake you up. A physical notebook. 1 hour before you want to sleep, take 5 minutes to write down everything that is in your head. Write down the 3 things you must do tomorrow. Write down the worry that is nagging you. Write down the random thought about the grocery list. By writing it down, you are literally transferring the data from your working memory onto the paper. You are telling your brain, it is safe. It is recorded. We don't need to hold on to this anymore. You will feel a physical sensation of lightness. You are closing the open tabs in your mental browser. This habit separates your doing mode from your being mode. When the list is written, you are done. You have permission to clock out. You are no longer the manager of your life. You are just a woman resting in soft sheets. This simple act of offloading your mental burden is often the cure for insomnia. It quiets the internal chatter so that silence can finally enter. The gratitude seal, finally, as you close your eyes, we have one last ritual. The gratitude seal. The last 5 minutes before you fall asleep are critical. Your brain waves slow down into a theta state. This is a state of deep programming. Whatever you think about in these last few minutes will marinate in your subconscious for the next 8 hours. If you fall asleep worrying about money, your body will soak in the frequency of scarcity all night. If you fall asleep angry at your partner, you will soak in resentment. We want to marinate in abundance. We want to seal the day with gold. The habit is to hunt for glimmers. A glimmer is the opposite of a trigger. It is a tiny micro moment of safety or joy. Lying in the dark, I want you to scan your day for 3 glimmers. Maybe it was the first sip of hot coffee. Maybe it was the way the sun hit the trees on your drive home. Maybe it was a funny text from a friend. They don't have to be big things. In fact, small things are better. Visualize them. Relive them for a second. Feel the warmth of that memory. Whisper a silent thank you. By doing this, you are training your reticular activating system, remember habit 5.1, to scan for safety. You are programming your brain to believe that the world is good and that you are taken care of. You are ending the day on a win. Even if the day was hard, even if you cried, even if everything went wrong, finding these 3 glimmers reminds you that there was still beauty. This is how you drift off, not in a state of lack, but in a state of fullness. You seal the day with love and you trust that tomorrow will bring its own mercies. Sleep well, knowing you have lived fully, the new you, the compound effect. We have reached the end of the list. But this is only the beginning of your transformation. I want you to take a deep breath. We have covered a lot of ground today. We have traveled from the internal landscape of your mind, through the vessel of your body, into the structure of your relationships, and finally into the sanctuary of your home and your sleep. Right now, you might be feeling a mix of emotions. You might feel inspired, but you might also feel a little overwhelmed. You might be thinking, how am I supposed to do all 9 of these things? I'm already so tired. I want you to release that pressure right now. Remember what we discussed at the very beginning. The goal is not a radical overhaul. The goal is the micro shift. You do not need to implement all 9 habits tomorrow morning. In fact, I beg you not to. If you try to do everything at once, you will trigger your resistance and you will quit. Instead, I want you to trust in the compound effect. Imagine a single drop of water falling onto a stone. 1 drop does nothing. 10 drops do nothing. But 1,000,000 drops falling consistently over time can cut through solid rock. These habits are the water. Your old life, your old patterns, your insecurity. That is the rock. You don't need a sledgehammer. You just need the consistency of the drops. Pick one habit, just one. Maybe this week you only focus on the morning script habit Fei Wenf. That's it. You let everything else stay the same. Or maybe you focus on the soft no, habit part 3, watch what happens. When you change one part of a system, the whole system has to reorganize. If you start setting boundaries, you will suddenly have more energy. Because you have more energy, you might feel like cleaning your home, habit fate 5. Because your home is clean, you might sleep better, habit fate 9. Because you slept better, you might feel like dressing up, the habit point 7. It is a domino effect. You don't have to force it, you just have to push the first domino. So be gentle with yourself. Do not turn this into another to-do list that you use to beat yourself up. Treat these habits as a menu. Choose the one that tastes the most delicious to you right now. Choose the one that makes your soul say, yes, I need that. A letter to your future self. Now I want to do one final exercise with you. I want to time travel. I want you to close your eyes for a moment. If you can place your hand over your heart, I want you to imagine a version of you 6 months from today. Visualize her clearly. She wakes up in the morning and she doesn't reach for her phone. She stretches, she feels calm. She whispers a script of gratitude before her feet even touch the floor. She walks into her kitchen. It is clean. The counters are clear. There is a candle burning. She smells coffee. She feels safe in her own home. She gets dressed. She puts on clothes that fit her perfectly, clothes that make her feel like a queen, even though she is just going to work. She looks in the mirror and the voice in her head is kind. It says, you look beautiful today. The toxic roommate has moved out. Throughout a day, things happen, stress happens, traffic happens, but she doesn't spiral. She pauses, she breathes. She protects her peace with elegant boundaries. She says no without guilt. She moves through the world with a fluid feminine energy. She isn't rushing. She notices the sky. She notices the trees. People adore her. They wonder what her secret is. They wonder why she seems so glowing, so magnetic, so deeply okay. And at night, she lays her head down on her pillow without anxiety. She empties her mind. She finds her glimmers and she drifts off into a deep, restorative sleep. Open your eyes, that woman. She is not a fantasy. She is not a movie character. She is you. She is simply you minus the fear. She is you minus the clutter. She is you minus the exhaustion. She is waiting for you. Every time you choose a soft no, you are walking toward her. Every time you choose to adorn the vessel, you are becoming her. Every time you seek her, you are merging with her. You are building her brick by brick, habit by habit. She is not far away. She is just on the other side of these choices. The final call as we close this video, I want you to acknowledge something. You are not the same woman who clicked on this title 45 minutes ago. The woman who started this video was looking for answers. The woman finishing this video has the answers. You now possess the blueprint. You understand psychology. You know that you are not broken. You were just running on old scripts. And now you have the pen. You are the writer of the next chapter. I want to ask you a favor. If this video spoke to you, if it touched that quiet place in your heart that has been waiting to be seen, please let me know. The algorithm is a machine. We are a community. Leave a comment down below. I want you to declare your intention. Write, I am ready, or tell me which habit you are going to start with. Are you going to be a lucky girl? Are you going to curate your sanctuary? Are you going to master the soft no? By writing it down, you are making a contract with yourself. You are making it real. And if you know a woman in your life, a sister, a best friend, a mother who is exhausted, who is running on empty, who needs to be reminded of her own power, please share this video with her. Give her the permission to pause. Give her the permission to put herself first. We are all in this together. We are all walking each other home. Thank you for giving me your most precious asset, your time. Thank you for listening. But most importantly, thank you for being willing to do the work to become the woman you are always meant to be. You are magnetic. You are worthy. You are capable of change. Go out there and romanticize your life. Go out there and own your moment. I will see you in the next video.